Hi, welcome to the channel. I'm Sherrisse. This is us.
I want you by my side, by my side, by my side, by my side. I want you by my side, by my side, by my side, by my side. I'm waiting for the day that you realize that I'm so down for you. I'm your ride or die. Take you by the hand, look into your eyes. I'ma tell you, girl, I want you by my side. Oh, 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 oh,
And before I start uploading all of these videos I've been holding on to, I wanted to make this first one just as an introduction because you won't see me in a lot of the videos that I post. It's me behind the camera. But I wanted to introduce myself, introduce us, and give you a bit of our backstory so that you'll kind of know who we are, why we're doing what we're doing. So, me and Dave met back in 1994 in high school. We're both from a small town, middle of Missouri, both country kids, both mixed kids out in a not very diverse environment. So, of course, it was only natural that we kind of be drawn to each other in the beginning. But there was something different about him that I saw from the time that I saw him walking across the cafeteria. He had these beautiful curls that would hang down over his eyes, and he'd shake his head, and wore this really cool green jacket, and he just looked tough. But even though he looked tough, I knew, okay, he has a good heart. So we got to know each other back in high school just for a few months, and then he had to go away. And then I went away. Moved, both of us gone away from this small town. There was no social media. Phone calls from him, unfortunately, were pretty expensive to be able to get. Another story for another day. But so we lost touch. And then over the years, I went on to live my life. He went on to live his, both having kids, husbands, wives, all that good stuff. Over the years, though, he would always, thanks to Facebook, thank you, Facebook, not Facebook, kind of, but over the years, he would send me just random messages just to check in. Hey, friend, how you doing? That type of thing. But we never really, we never connected or did any real significant communication from 1994, all the way until 2020. So spring of 2020, and I was in the middle of this journey that I've been on for quite some time. And out of the blue, he sent me this message with this really weird, raunchy joke. I didn't really think it was funny, but I did think it was funny that he was reaching out to me at that point in time in life, because the last time I had heard from him, I was going through some really tough things. I was in an abusive relationship, was just coming out of it. Actually, it's funny with that also. The last time that before 2020, the last message that I had gotten from him was the day that I had finally gotten away from my abuser, and out of the blue, he sent me a message. Hey, how are you doing? Just checking up on you. So God works in mysterious ways. Planting seeds. So fast forward 2020, sends me this raunchy joke. I respond. It sparks up communication between the two of us, just messaging back and forth. And we did this for weeks. Until finally he was like, hey, do you want to hang out? I was like, yeah, sure. Wasn't working. I don't have anything else to do. Sure, we'll hang out. So we met up, hung out, just sat and talked, caught up a little bit for a few hours, went our separate ways, and we went back to our messaging for a couple of weeks, and then we met up again and hung out, and we did this for a while, and then slowly it just turned into us dating. The longer you spend together, the closer your bond becomes, and next thing you know, we're kind of a couple. Then in, I want to say it's about November of 2020. I think about November. We started talking about being able to spend a lot more time together. And then he asked what I would think about moving in. Moving in with him. So at that time, during this period, I was back in our hometown. I had moved back. I've lived in so many different places, different states, different cities. Over this last couple decades, I've moved a lot. And the last place I ever thought I would be was back in my hometown. But there I was, living with my dad, helping to take care of him. His health wasn't the greatest. And so, yeah, that's where David found me at that time. So him asking me to move in was really a big deal. Before moving in with him, I've never moved in with a man before. I have always known that I have to be able to take care of me. So I always got to make sure I got a roof over my head, roof over my kid's head, that we've got food in our stomachs. I knew that I couldn't depend on anyone else, person-wise, other than me to make sure that these things happen. Not to say that I don't have support or didn't have support from family and such, but, you know, I'm a mom. I got to take care of my brood. And so for him to ask me, it was a big deal. It's a lot of some things that I had to overcome within myself to be able to say yes to that. But I took some time, thought it over, and it certainly would save us on gas. It would increase the amount of time that we got to spend with each other. So ultimately, I said yes and did move in with him, which meant I had to move back to the city. Remember, we were in a small town. Being in the city is cool. It's all right. I mean, it has its perks. Everything's convenient. It's right there. But I can't say that living in a small town makes it any less convenient. You just have a few less options. I'm okay with that. So once I came here to move in with him, then became the question of, well, now if we're both in the city, when do we get our country time? And I am a big dreamer, and I like things the way that I like them, and I like to have what I like. And I do love being out in nature. I do love being in the country, and he does as well. So we have a shared vision there. So asking the question of what are we going to do now since we're both in the city, it made us start looking at properties and seeing what was out there. Where could we find a place that where we could go, that was ours and that could get us out and away from the city. And so we looked at a few places. We would be out and we'd just take drives out to the country still. And if we'd see like just random for sale signs for land on the side of the road, we'd hop off and go check them out and look at them. And then looking on Zillow one day, we came across this property. It was on the river. It was not pricey at all. So we're like, wow, this is really cool. Like, we should look into this. And just as quick as we said we should look into this, contract. It was under contract. Oh, we were not really devastated because at that point we hadn't been out to look at or anything. We just thought it was cool. So we were like, okay, well, if anything like that comes up again, we're hopping on it because that one went really quick. Now we're still out just kind of looking at random places. And then looking on Zillow again, we see this same property that was under contract before. The contract was gone. Oh, exciting. We were both so excited. So we immediately got in contact with the realtor. We went out to look at it. And when we got there, everything was overgrown. It was wild. It was not developed. It's just this raw piece of land that bordered the river, and we were in love. We were in love, love, love. So we immediately got the ball rolling. And one of the things that we did was a process that I learned from Abraham Hicks. It's called a focus wheel. We did that focus wheel one night just on a whim, like, because I knew it was something that can work. I've done it before. So I was like, oh, try it. I'll introduce him to something new. He doesn't know about this. I'll teach him something. So we did the focus wheel. And I want to say within 3 weeks of doing that focus wheel, we closed on that property. So exciting. I do remember it was a Saturday. was a Saturday morning, and we got up that morning. We were so excited. We had closed on the property. It was the first day that we were going to go out and check everything out. Now that we were the owners, we were gonna go out there and just like see what could we do. We can go out there with some lawnmowers and some weed eaters and machetes and chainsaws, and like we can start like manicuring and just clearing stuff out, because we, like I said, we have this vision. And also this vision has grown now. At that point, past just me and him, it's kind of ballooned into something else. We'll go into that. That Saturday morning, we get up, we're getting ready to go out to the property, and I get a phone call from my brother that my dad had passed away the night before. And so it was on a Saturday, and you're like, okay, well, we have all these fun things that we were getting ready to do, and I just found out my dad passed. And so what are we supposed to do right now? So I went through a really, really emotional morning of morning time of trying to process this news that I've just gotten. And everybody's kind of sitting around because, like I said, again, it's Saturday. We can't really do any funeral business or planning or anything like that. So I received from my dad that morning, you have to still go, right? Go, keep on with your plans, keep doing what you were planning to do. And so I pulled myself together and we went. And that day was one of the most magical days ever. My brother came, my stepfather came, my mom couldn't come. It was rough for her. But we all went out to the property that day, and we didn't do a ton of work, but hold on, let me pull myself together. We didn't do a ton of work, but like I said, it felt really magical because I could feel the presence, just the presence of my father, presence of God, presence of joy, and all of us gathering there just to use that day as a way to process through our hurt and through our mourning. So from there, we pretty much started spending every weekend just working on whatever we can work on. Sometimes we don't get any work done. Sometimes we get a lot of work done. But that was the end of summer, all through fall, and now we're in winter. So with wintertime, it brought on a whole other set of challenges because the work that we can do out there is not necessarily the same. So with a lot of the work that we do is brain work, just going out, sketching things, taking notes of what's to come as the season unfolds, as we move into spring, where the ground's not frozen and it's not flooding so much. So all of these videos that I'm going to be uploading are really just like a catch up, because as we move into spring, I'll be posting a lot more videos more frequently, and I'll be posting a lot more of the progress that's being made. So my intent for this channel is to, to give people a little bit of insight into what we do. I can't say that we do anything extremely different than a lot of other people, but we do have our story is a bit unique in the sense of where we grew up, how we found each other again, and the journey that we're both on together and the things that we're creating. So my intent is to just inspire others to be able to follow their dreams as well, because truly what all the things that you'll be seeing all start with dreams that him and I have. We have excellent communication with each other, and we have a very like mind. The vision that we see for all of this that we're doing is very, very, very much aligned with each other's. So thank you so much for taking the time to sit and listen to this, for allowing me to kind of bring you up to speed. There'll be a lot of things that you see that they're in the past, but not so far in the past where it's completely outdated. So yeah, I hope that you will join us on this journey. I hope that we inspire you to follow your own dreams, to find ways to overcome obstacles, not focus on problems, but stay solution oriented, stay positive, find your joy every day. And that's kind of why I did this. Thanks.